Hi guys, this is Amanda Rich. This is my unit of study revisions, which is assignment number 5. Just a quick recap, I did my unit of study on the book The Outsiders. My class just actually finished it completely today, in fact. We've been working on it since the very beginning of November. And for this particular activity, I really wanted to work on citing textual evidence, which is something that we had been working on briefly over time so far, as well as using characteristic traits and assigning those with certain people and giving reasonings why we have assigned those to certain people using textual evidence. So the first question is, do tasks yield appropriate evidence of the identified understandings? I said that I believe that the tasks built within my lessons most definitely provided evidence because they had multiple pieces for me to check to demonstrate their mastery at the skill at hand. Also, I did give them a pretty detailed rubric telling them exactly what I wanted and exactly what they would be working on for mastery with it, so that way I would have tons of evidence to prove that they were doing it. We started off by a couple practice sheets before we actually got to the main assignment, which was a character autopsy. And so I had, like I'll show here in a moment, quite a few pieces of evidence to prove that they were able and fully understood what I wanted them to do. The next question is, do the tasks involve a complex, authentic application of the identified knowledge, skill, and understandings? I said that students were able to properly identify character traits of the characters, and they were able to make connections with the characters' traits alongside their own. We also then discussed why it was so important to be able to cite textual evidence of a lot of different types of things. We started off discussing why it was important with this certain assignment, and then we went on to discuss where else it would be important in. We discussed in court hearings, we discussed different types of careers that you would need to be able to cite textual evidence, as well as cite normal evidence in general. I did state that next time I may extend this or do it in the beginning of the year and the end of the year on themselves to be able to cite not so much textual evidence, but cite evidence in general, how they have changed from the beginning of their 8th grade year to the end of their 8th grade year. I feel like this would be more another example of a good, authentic application to prove their skill and knowledge of being able to cite evidence and character traits at the same time, and also being able to see the development of the character / them throughout a period of time. My appropriate assessment formats that I used, we did just vague questioning, specific questioning, my ICE practice sheets that we worked on, just general observations between individual work as well as group work. We did some practice knowing where they wrote everything down on a blank white piece of paper at multiple times throughout this project, as well as their project, their character autopsy, and the rubric that followed that as well. Are students given the opportunity to self-assess and reflect upon their learning and performance? The character autopsies were posted within the classroom as well as on the wall out in the hallway. They were able to reflect on theirs while seeing everyone else's and being able to see how they each did something a little differently and were able to pick on different characteristics, as well as they were even able to then see which one of their classmates may have needed some extra help. And I had in one instance in my 4th hour where one of them, the students went to another group of students and explained to them what they had originally done wrong. Next time I'd create a Padlet with pictures and a rating system, which is actually something I just did with their biased news articles. My students created a biased news article over one of 4 events that had happened within the story, and created a biased news article from a certain, whether a social or a greaser point of view. We then posted them in a s'more and then posted the s'more on Padlet. Each of the students were able to go through and read the different biased news articles, rate them on a 5-star system, whether or not they were biased, and as well as leave one type of good job comment as well as some constructive criticism. Looking back, I would also want to be able to do this with this activity because I saw how great the feedback was and how much self-reflection as well as group reflection there actually was with this assignment.